on our airwaves and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is 93.7 The Ticket.
Look at you, sure. Look at you, sure. I'm the captain now.
3-time national champion Vershawn Jackson.
Touchdown. Vershawn Jackson, number 34, gets the touchdown. Terrell Farley, defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43.
And Jake Bakoven.
I've talked to a few cats. They said that Bach got some game, man.
Coming at you live from the Coppels Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer. Here he is, Vershawn Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Captain Show. This is 93.7 The Ticket. I'm the black shirt Terrell Farley, and I am with Bach. And I have DP in here. And ladies and gentlemen, we might have the best guest the Captain Show has ever had. I don't know if I want to introduce him yet. I just want the crowd to get used to listening to this name because this guy is growing on me. Every time I meet him, it gets better and better. And this is what I want to do. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the University of Nebraska football team head coach, Matt Rhule, is in the building today. How you doing, Coach Rhule?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you having me, man.
Oh, it's nice to have you on the show, sir. It's my pleasure.
It has been a journey to work this stuff out, right? And I am fully appreciative of Coach Rhule. One, you did a thing this week that, as as the comedians say, lets me further know that you're the right person in the right place, doing the right thing. Is that you invited some folks into a space to just have conversations. There's no cameras, there's no social media, there was no interviewing, just you and your staff in a room talking to people and letting them get to know you all. And Coach, I have to ask, why? Why was that done?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me.
Oh, look, this is look, we've been working on this for a minute. So
I think, you know, the one thing is when you have a chance to just sit down with somebody, you know, talk, break bread, have a drink, share a conversation. I think what happens is you start to really start to connect on different levels, right? And so, you know, the people that cover us, whether it's radio, TV, media, social media, there's all these different avenues that cover us. You know, I think we want to show appreciation to them, right? I mean, we can't have the impact that we want to have if people aren't covering it. If people aren't interested in what we're doing, then it doesn't matter. We don't have the program that we want. And then secondly, I mean, those people work hard. I mean, you work hard. Those are the guys that came to that work. And so sitting down and visiting and as you said, you know, turning everything off. And it's kind of the old school way. You know, I played for Coach Paterno, you know, Friday nights before the game, he would do the media. I've made great friends with people over the years who've covered us because, you know, just sitting down and having conversations and getting to know people. And so it just made sense a year in here just to sit down with everybody that covers us and just, you know, sit there and visit, talk about their kids' little league team, talk about, and you know what, the job's a job. Like when people got to criticize us, they have to criticize us. When they have to cover us, they have to cover us. But on a personal level, it doesn't have to be personal. It can just be the job. And so that's why we did it. It was fun.
I mean, I think the big thing in it is that bridge, the bridge between your job and our job. And then if we agree to meet in the middle, one, I'm more respectful of the work that you put in to do the job that you do. And then you have some understanding of who is this person, right? And we become people rather than titles and responsibilities. And I think what you did that day, that afternoon, was one, allow your coaches to become people outside of the normal media rush. And you did a thing in it. You told your coaches not to talk to each other. You needed them talking to the media. Yeah, well, see, coach, here's the thing. That coach and me, we call it comfortable movement, right? Yeah. That if I watch you, how you operate in it, then I can explain to the listeners, to the fans, you know what? Here's something I saw about your boy. Here's your dude. Yeah. Matt Rhule is a guy. Coach Rhule is a guy who is purposeful in his movement, and not everybody has that. So where does that come from?
Well, I think the difference for me this time around was, I had opportunities just to, maybe just stay home, play some golf. I got fired, I was getting paid. I came here with a purpose. I wanted to re-impact the lives of young people. When you're in the NFL, you're not really doing that. It just wasn't really for me. I wanted to be a part of restoring a national power and have a place in that. But I also wanted to say I impacted coaches. I'm very sad that two places we had the most success, Temple and Baylor, when we left, they did not promote from within. And I think sometimes it's because people see me speak. I think I'm able to articulate kind of what we're doing pretty clearly. And sometimes the administrators think that it's me, but it's not me. I'm just the mouthpiece of it. Maybe I'm I'm at the top of it, but I'm not the one doing the work. And so when I came here, I was like, I want to coach with people I love. And I've watched Joey McGuire go to Texas Tech and really have a lot of success who worked for me. I've watched Fran Brown now starting at Syracuse. He's going to have a ton of success. And so in that day, it's also a chance for, I think Evan Cooper is going to be a great head coach. I think Terrence Knight can be a head coach. Rob Dvorak, Tony's going to be a head coach. And so Sat could be a great head coach. I mean, I'm not leaving anyone out. They all could do it. And so they've got to get in those rooms and they've got to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And they've got to learn how to connect with people and some guys walked. I'm wearing a collared shirt today. You'll never catch me wearing a collared shirt. Amon's been in the building. He's gonna see me in t-shirt and shorts. Yeah. But when they walked into that, I'm like, hey guys, this is a small job interview for you, and it's an opportunity. So where does all that come from? I think I'm at a place in my life where I'm comfortable being me. As I tell the players sometimes, I've been National Coach of the Year, and I've been a meme on Twitter being made fun of, when we were losing. And none of that's really real. In the middle, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I like coaching football, and I like working with young people. And so when I came here, I was just like, I'm going to do what's right. I don't mean to talk too long. The second part of it, though, is understanding that your stakeholders aren't just the players. It's the players, it's the university, it's the former players, it's the former coaches, it's the media. And if you can just treat everybody as well as you can possibly treat them while being strong enough to do what you think is right. I can love these guys and have them say, Coach, I think we should be doing this, and be like, no, and not get offended by it. But I hear what you're saying, and still do what I think is right. What you don't want is a weak head coach. And you also don't want a head coach who's afraid to talk to people. So I can sit there with the media. I can sit there with you guys and listen. And sometimes people say stuff to me and I'm like, damn, that's deep. Let me go rethink what I'm saying. So that might be Coach Osborne drawing up plays for me. That might be somebody telling me, hey, this is how we did things. But I'm always, trying to learn and understand that, hey, these people are all important to Nebraska. And
this is why I know, being in the same space with you, one, you start to identify what people are really about. Like, you get to look beyond titles and you just go, here's this thing. But my connection to Carolina, I'm tracking you the whole time anyway. And the folks there were like, okay, here's what you got. Here's what you got. And there are folks in DC that track with Matt Rhule, and they, wait a minute, man, you got one. Like, you've got equipment managers and trainers, former trainers, who are shouting yes to Matt Rhule, which means a lot for the people behind the scenes. Next to me and next to you on the other side are two Husker greats. Great. I mean, these, in any discussion, these are two of the best at their position at the University of Nebraska ever. What is your thinking? What is your want for your relationships with them? Because Amon and Farley, first of all, elite Huskers, but these are two of the best human beings that can possibly represent a university. What do you want for them?
I think the first thing is I want them to, when they watch the games on Saturdays, that they're proud of the way we play. I mean, yeah, you want to win, but you find out a lot about a team sometimes when they lose. Like, you find out a lot about a team when they lose, they come back the next week. Like, it's one thing to come and you're the most dominant team. I get it. Well, then how do you play early in the game? You know what I'm saying? Like, just how do we play? Are we physical? How do we, then it's how do we practice? And that's how do our players act? And that's how do we treat the players? And then it's how do we treat them? And so, for me, there's always I have to protect a lot of things, right? I have to protect the players. The things that I don't want is I don't want people coming to practice and then leaving and saying, hey, this player played well, this player's not playing well, because it's not the player that played well, it's the player that's not playing well. They hear all that. Like, I wish they didn't hear it all, but they hear it all. Yeah. And when we were playing, there wasn't a lot of that. There wasn't a lot of internet, social media at the level it is now. It's like our kids now, like when I was playing, if you made a mistake, you're like, oh, Coach McBride's going to rip you in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Only in the film room.
Now they come in at halftime. They want to know where their phone is. They want to see, like, they drop the pass. They want to see if they're trending.
Is that so? That's really a thing.
It is. That's 100% real. And so it's just they can't be free to play because they're so anxious. Like last year, there were 2 Husker teams. There was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and there was on the field on Saturday. And that's the job is to get the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday team to start showing up on Saturday, and we'll get there. But that's why, that's why I will say, like, hey, don't, come to practice, and, but I've opened it up to the players no matter what. Even if I know that, so-and-so might get on the radio and say, hey, I saw him and he's not right. At the end of the day, if you bled for the team, you bled for the team. And I think trying to invite those guys back reconnects them to this. Because when I got here, a lot of the players were kind of like, you know what? The Huskers of the 90s and 2000s and 80s, they were so great. We're tired of hearing about it, Coach. And my point is, no, you can't get tired of hearing about it. But what you have to do is set your own course. You have to listen to it and not feel like a failure. Feel like, you know what? I'm a part of a great lineage of football. But there's also going to be many people who come after me. And right now it's about, what do I do when I'm wearing that number? What do I do when I'm wearing that jersey? How am I leaving it? These guys, they left it great for the ones that are here now. I've got, and you know what, maybe we could be a part of going from, 4-8, 3-9, 5-7 to getting back to being a contender. Now you'll have done something so special, but you have to embrace the negativity or the paranoia you feel on the inside and overcome it.
I'm on. Look, man, you deserve time with this gentleman.
Yeah. But you didn't pose the question, but you kind of put it out there about how you're watching your teams. There's 2 teams. That comment you just made there. You got a Tuesday, Wednesday team, and then you got a Saturday team. And that was something where you and your coaches, when I went to spring ball last year, and I was hearing coaches yelling, coach speak, or just saying things, but it was the stuff as a player that I want to hear, because then it's motivating, it's correcting, and then the players are reacting properly to it. And for a guy that's didn't run all the way to the line to get off the field, when there's a change of play and it's a substitution, and they start walking when they get to the numbers, and they're like, what are you doing? We're all the way to seeing that type of stuff as a player, former player. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to hear. And that was the part of me that told me, Matt, his coaches, they're doing it the right way, because it's the foundation that was dismantled, destroyed here, culture-wise, that now has to get reconstructed brand new. And so right now, just I'm going to say from me to you, you're on that path, because hearing what I heard at those practices, I think I went to about 5 or 6 of them. And then this year too, little night and day difference between the personalities out there, the rotation, because back and forth, you're in and out, different drills and how you're running them. And I love the fact that you did the little competition, the teams, the Rattlesnake Boys and all that. If y'all been watching this on social media, and I'm looking at it like he's sneakily teaching these kids how to be GMs, how to be sports directors, how to manage a squad, how to, can we scout other players from another team? We could trade for them. Like he's sneakily doing that. I don't know if these players realize he's giving them kind of a easy way in, or just a backdoor way into understanding how the NFL works, and now really college football, because we have transfer portal and NIL. So just seeing those little tidbits that you're saying, and you're definitely, I definitely agree with you on how you saying you work with young adults, because right there, that's something that most young kids won't get. College age, high school kid coming in, it's like, man, I saw this. I'm looking on my Instagram at the video. I mean, you have it broken down where you have a anchor from the J school. I know the kid who does the talk, and I'm like, oh, and then he breaks down the teams, and I'm like, that's just being a GM, but they having fun. I could tell they're having fun. Castagnata, he's one of the coaches, or he's one of the GMs, and he's talking, and he's breaking. Well, this guy, he's like getting all into it. I'm like, he don't realize this is information that is could use later, or he could use for himself once he gets to the NFL level, that he can understand that whole process, how GMs, the head coaches, becomes a business then at the next level. So you're giving them nuggets right now, gold nuggets, which hopefully they use and realize later on, like, oh, this was sweet. I did this in college with Coach when he was during our spring ball, so and so. So just doing that stuff for me, I'm like, they know what they're doing. Well, so keep it going. Give me right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think the big thing, like you talked about, like, guys running off the field and all that. Like last week, the scrimmage, the Tommy Hills, the Ty Robinsons, the Bryce, the guys who played a lot of football. I didn't scrimmage them. That's an old Coach Paterno thing. I have been practicing but not scrimmaging. But I had them stand out next to me, and I was like, just wanted to hear. And all of a sudden, you start hearing Nash and Ty and 3 techniques lined up wrong, and they're screaming for them to get lined up, and then and so some of our guys, they early on you start to panic about that. And I tell them all the time, like, listen, this is how I was raised, right? In football and in my family, love to me is correction. Love to me is being told when I do something right and when I do something wrong, and having no agenda behind it. And so as we get more comfortable getting corrected, what we realize is someone cares enough about us to tell us, hey, this isn't good enough, do it again or do it differently. And when it starts coming from the players, now that was way different 20 years ago, 10 years ago than it is now. It's way harder to get that. The spring league has gotten that. Where all of a sudden now guys are like, well, I'm in charge. I told Deshaun Singleton the other day, I said, the rumor mill is starting to pop up on Pro Football Talk. You might be out as the GM, bro. You're not producing, but also having those guys out there and, hey, this is how we play. This is how we run the ball. This is how we run off the field. When it starts coming from the players, that's when, like, really my work is done. Mm-hmm. And my work now comes into, hey, situational football. Like, you can't worry about, you have to do some of it, but you can't be elite at coaching third down and coaching 2-minute, coaching the situations if your foundation of playing hard and accountability isn't at a high level. So I feel like in year one, while it was 5 and 7, we got a lot of that done. And now we're taking another step so that hopefully, as the players get better, as they get more confident, as their personality starts to show, as the swagger in their play starts to show, then all of a sudden they'll still have that foundation of, yeah, I can do all of this, but I better play hard and I better line up. And if I don't do it right, I'm gonna hear about it from my teammates, and it's not personal. And I literally have to do, like, you can probably tell this, I'm not a guy that loves to work out. I go in there every day when the players are walking through. Now I have our strength coach put us through a workout. Yeah. And if they tell me to get 12, because they stop, make fun of me. If I get 11, I get up. I'm like, I'm a punk. I'm so sorry. and they hear me talking to myself, and I'm like, guys, this is greatness. Like when you don't do it, it shouldn't break you. It shouldn't make you all sad. You got to go talk to your parents, and it should make you like just do it, so angry to get back out there and do it again the next day. And that's that we're trying to raise warriors. We're not just trying to win football games. We teach a bunch of young men how to be warriors in the home and on the football field, in school, and in life. Then that's how the program gets restored.
I want to, for folks that are just joining and you just got in the car or you just got into your office and you think you're hallucinating. So let's reset and understand that here on the ticket, we have Nebraska football head coach Matt Rhule, and we thank him for giving us time today. And I don't want to be abusive of the time because I know that you have other things to do. You've got an agenda that has to be met. And before I give you over to Farley, the black shirt needs to get in the game, and I need to do that. But I want to ask you about maybe the most important person to the program that isn't talked about often. Your wife, because she holds it together. Like, I can't do the station thing without my wife. And I can't imagine how much burden and load she carries. So here's an opportunity, Coach. let's put your wife in the game and tell the story of this fantastic woman.
She's the best. Like, this is a girl, like when I met her at Penn State, and people be like, "Oh, what's your boyfriend play?" She'd be like, another team has the ball. Like he kind of stands behind and runs the ball. And now she's like, are we going to blitz? Like, I mean, are we going to take some shot? Like she is. So, I mean, she's a gangster. Like she's in our house, she's the alpha. And, but what I love about Julie is like, you go on a road trip and go up in the stands and you're going to see Julie sitting there, listening to Colorado fans cussing at her and all that. She's going to be right there with my two daughters. Lose the game, win the game. There ain't no crying. We're sitting there in Carolina. You got 50,000 people chanting to fire me.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to sit there with my kids, proud to be my wife. Proud. You don't ever be embarrassed with your last name. Your daddy's working hard. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If it does, it does. She loves the players. Every Thursday night she has a different group over. We have a little loft down here. In recruiting, has all the parents. Loves the parents. Thursday nights we do family dinner. We invite everyone's girlfriends. So she brings a separate side to me, so as the players, as they're playing for me and trying to figure out who is this guy, they see I have a 19-year-old son, see I have two young daughters, but my wife brings a part of me that's way different, and she makes the program better. She makes recruiting better. She makes the staff better. So she's been amazing. She came here and, was moving her father here, and unfortunately her father passed away, while I was here recruiting, and she was back home in Charlotte. Her father passed away, and she was like, this is the last stop, Matt. Like, she said, you better win. She's like, you better win because I'm not doing this again. Like, it's one thing moving a son around, but these two daughters of ours now, they're 11 and 8. Little girls don't need to move up, moving all across the country. So she picked this job. And, she's opening up a business right now. So now it's funny now she's like, instead of calling me like, oh, you too worried about third down to call me? Now I call her. I can't get her on the phone. She's like, she texts me back like, I'll hit you back later. I'm like, what's this? But now Julia, she's special. And what she'll do, she'll take that hustling mindset that we have, that recruiting mindset that we have, that customer service, putting other people first, and she'll put it into her dry bar salon, and she'll try to make the experience for women that much better. But she also wants our daughters to grow up seeing their mom working. She's not just opening a business and like letting someone else run it, put some money into it. Like she's in there grinding every day because she wants our daughters to see like your father works hard, we work hard, I work hard, and we expect our kids to work hard too.
Farley, we'll get you a question here, and then we'll take a break because I do want to give him the opportunity to get out whether he wants to, whether he has to or not.
Well, one thing I do love about Coach Rhule is that he says he cares about his kids. And that's one thing we learned from Coach Osborne is that when a coach cares for you, you play harder for that coach. And, Coach, I'm just happy that you put these kids first because a lot of coaches out here don't do that. They make a promise to these kids and they don't turn around and be the same person. Now, with you, you're the same person, and it makes these kids play better knowing that they got to play for you, and they play harder and smarter when they know somebody care for them, because Coach Osborne cared for all of us. I can't say the same about Coach McBride because he can look at you and scare you. But, just hearing that brings so much back to me that how hard I would play for this coach, that he cared for me so much.
But I think sometimes we think about coaches and players, going back to the beginning, like media and coaches, I just prefer to think of it as people. And, when I got to Carolina, going from college to the NFL was really hard. It's hard because the NFL players look at you like, oh, he's a college coach. How's this going to be? But then COVID hit, and you're never around anybody. Every meeting's on Zoom. And it's like you wake up one day and you don't have a connection with anybody. And the other guys are going to do their job, And the last year I ended up getting fired. It was one of the best years for me in coaching because COVID was lifted, and every Friday I go play golf with, three guys. I invite, it might be McCaffrey, it might be Shaq Thompson, it might be, and we have dinners and Brian Burns, and I started to like have personal real life connections. Cause as I tell our team all the time, everyone is not like we might look at you guys. Oh, okay. Husker legend, all the things you've accomplished. At the end of the day, like we all wake up in the morning, we got something on our mind. We got something stressing us out. We got some sort of struggle we're going through, and seeing people as people. And so as I was going down the path of unfortunately getting fired and all the things that were going wrong, it was Christian McCaffrey with 50,000 people chanting to fire me, coming over and putting his arm around me in front of everybody. It was Derek Brown. It was all these guys having my back. And I was like, no matter who it is, at what level, it always comes down to connection. It always comes down to people. And what, it's my 11th year being a head coach. I've had to do the eulogy at my players' funerals. I've had to make that call. I've had to be there when guys have gone to jail. I've gotten a chance to be there when guys get married. And you know what? Like once you've played for you, play for even the guys who transferred, the guys who quit. I've told them all, I love you no matter what. Like you have to go on your journey. I'm always here if you need me. And so that's a perspective. Like year 1, year 2, year 3 at Temple, I might not have had, but I have it now. And that doesn't mean that we're not coaching hard. That doesn't mean we're letting you do whatever you want. Love to me is not doing whatever you want. Like my kids don't get to come home with these. Like my kids don't get to come home treating people poorly. But talking about my kids at home. But our players, the one thing about being at Nebraska, this is as fine a group of young people. I think Tony said at his press conference, like they're fun to coach. Like if we put the Rattlesnake Boys name on it, they'll play for 2 hours without even. If I say it's 907, they might look at me like I'm nuts. If I say 907 Rattlesnake Boy competition, they're out there flying around. But no, I appreciate you saying that because that's all it is. It's just people, right? People taking care of people.
100%.
Coach, I need to do this one again to thank you publicly because you didn't have to do what you're doing, and you didn't have to choose Nebraska. You don't have to go through all the stuff that you're going through in order to make this what you think it deserves, which is the real thing. I'll ask you a question, and in full transparency, I said you have permission to tell me the truth. Is there a possibility you could take a break and come back with us for 15 minutes?
Yeah, I the only thing I have, guys, here's my day today, right? Let me tell you my day. And I want someone to talk to Vershawn about. I came here, he wasn't here.
No. You understand that both of our phones are going to blow up the moment he finds out you were here.
I have 11:30 with Abdul Muhammad, and I have 7 o'clock tonight with Eric Crouch. So like,
you talking
about legends
and Abdul, and I'm calling Abdul to ask for his 30 minutes. So as soon as it's done, we will go to break. When we come back, head coach Matt Rhule, and he brought some guests with him. We're going to put them on too because they have information that is vital to this football program, this community. DP, Black Shirt, AG, head coach Matt Rhule, Bach. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is State Senator Carolyn Bosden. As a state senator, wife, and mom, I believe Lincoln is a great place to work and raise a family. My husband Reggie and I are local family business owners and actively involved in our community. Last year, I voted for the largest property tax relief package in Nebraska history. Property tax relief is important to every family, and I will continue to deliver more property tax relief to working families. This is Carolyn Bosden, and I am asking for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Bosden for Legislature.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first.
At Doane University, your future is uniquely yours, and our world-class liberal arts education is just the beginning.
We invite you to schedule your campus visit and experience why Doane University will start you on your journey to your future career.
Learn more by scheduling your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit. See you soon.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone back with the latest update from Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, your new car selection keeps getting better and better every month. Can you tell our listeners all about it?
It sure is, Charlie. It's great that our customers can come in, pick out a new Honda, and drive away with it that day.
How many new Hondas do you have in stock?
Well, right now we have just about 100 in stock.
Hey, I hear you've won some very important awards in your service department. Tell us about them.
Well, the first one is we won the award for the first fixed award. So the cars are actually fixed on the very first time they're brought in. Second award is our Customer Service Experience Award. And then our third award is our Honda Express Service Elite. And we rank the best in quality and customer satisfaction.
Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
You're spending $300 a month. Binge drinking is the most common form of excessive drinking, which costs the United States more than $191 billion each year. By drinking less, you will save $300 a month. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Join us each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon for Youth Football 101 with Tank Perry of the Nebraska Red Wolves of 7-on-7 football. The future of the sport depends on the foundation set at a young age. Hear those stories and more each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Back with Vershawn Jackson, powered by Bauer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All righty, welcome back to the Captain Show. This is 93.7 with a special guest, Coach Matt Rhule. We're here on 1040 O Street, the Mill Coffee House. Bach, I'm going to let you take it over right now, Bach.
All right, like you said, Matt Rhule in studio with us here. And I guess just the question that I have is kind of thinking in totality with the change of everything that's going on. Of course, some absolute legends walking away from the game with Saban, of course, retiring, Harbaugh going to the NFL. I just kind of constantly think about the changing and adapting to the college football world. And nobody really knows what it's going to look like in 10 years. But we do know there's going to be coaches in 10 years. And you've got some, younger coaches on staff. So what is it to you? I mean, that I kind of just think like you have to bend to kind of what's going on day to day. I mean, we're seeing laws passed in Virginia. I mean, things are changing constantly. So what is it about you? And there's going to be some people that say the old guard, they're not going to want to stay in coaching. So what is it about you that you think is going to work moving forward that allows you to bend, that allows you to adapt to an ever-changing college football world?
Well, the only ones getting out of coaching are the ones who've made enough money that they don't need to coach anymore. So let's not act like people are quitting to go.
See, that's the clip that we need because I need that set.
No, I mean, I think the big thing is you have to always have an eye towards the future because when there's fundamental changes, when there's chaos, the people that are the most prepared for are the ones who can make the jump, right? Like. They're the ones who can, hey, that might level the playing field. Now it's our opportunity now to go ahead and get on top of college football. At the same time, you can't sacrifice today for 2 years from now. And so sometimes even with NIL, sometimes people talk about, hey, it's going to be in-house soon. We're going to be this. Like, just tell me what the rules are today and stop complaining about like the rules are what the rules are. And so, you know what, like, that's like this clear message I can talk about. So every single day, what are we doing? How are we doing it? Is it the best way to do it? And try to always look for a better way to do everything. And so, sometimes when young people come to work for me, they're like, they struggle because they're like, man, he's like, coach is always saying like, why we do this? Should we do this differently? But I do that about everything. I do that about myself. I do that because every day you have to wake up and say, is this right? The thing changes in Virginia. Like, okay, well, hey, how does this affect us? What are our rules? and just constantly, and then push. You have to be willing to push. Like in today's college football, programs will only go as far as the people within the university, and whether it's the coach, the athletic director, or the administration, as far as they'll let them. Right? Some people are going to struggle at some point. Like sitting in a class and the professor's making this, and the basketball player, volleyball player, football player is making this. Well, none of it's right. What coaches' salaries aren't right. Like in terms of like our teachers should make the most money in our society, but it's not the way it is. And so it's very simply, what does Nebraska football have, and how does that compare to Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon? What does Nebraska volleyball have? How does that compare to those same schools? Just, hey, where do we compare? What are our things that we have? What are things we don't have? And just, I think you need a coach who's just relentless. And that's, hopefully I'm teaching those young coaches. So when Garrett McGuire is a head coach, he's in there and he's relentlessly fighting for every edge, every single edge to get their program one step better and a little bit better than the next opponent.
Coach, it's you're in that stretch of transitioning, right? You're adjusting, you're adapting. In-game management for you exists in the off season, trying to figure out not only what other folks are doing, your competitors and your business partners in the Big Ten, but making sure that the focus remains on Nebraska, right? You can get caught peeking over the fence at Ohio State and Michigan, and it will distract you. How do you maintain the focus? Because you have to be able to tell the boosters, the fan base, the NIL folks, all what it is that you need and want. So I'll ask, how do you make that decision? And what is the thing? Like, you've got listeners, you've got Husker Nation listening right now. This NIL thing is going to change everything, has changed everything. What is it that's going to help you make Nebraska as great as it can be?
NIL.
Yeah. Right.
Like if we have great players and we retain great players. No, I didn't say great recruits. Let me say this now. I didn't say great recruits.
That part.
People get confused sometimes with great players and great recruits.
Yeah.
Like sometimes a kid is a highly rated recruit because he was 6'3", 215 in 10th grade. Everyone he's killed, but he's never. We look at what they're gonna be, right? So to me, just all you have to do to know where Nebraska football is in 2, 3, 4 is look at how many guys get drafted every year. When you have a bunch of guys getting drafted and get drafted high, you probably had a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And so if we have good players and we can retain our players, and so I'm not even talking as much about going to the portal and taking people from other people. I'm talking about like you get someone here, you train them, you coach them. How do you handle it when they walk into you like, hey, coach, I love it here. I love you and you've done so much for me. But, so-and-so down the street just offered me $400,000. Like people like, oh, well, what would happen if you're running a dentist office? If someone got offered a 3 times raise, would they leave you or would they stay with you? Working here, if someone's hey, I just got offered 4 times what I'm making here, 5 times, 8 times, 10 times. So it's simple economics, right? So to me, sometimes people will say, I don't believe in NIL. And I said, there's no believing. It's real. You might not agree with it, okay? But it is here to stay. So everyone has to make a decision. Do we want Nebraska to be at the pinnacle? And I'm really simple. If you want us to be number 1 in the league, or let's say number 1 through 3, then the coach's salary should be 1 through 3. The recruiting budget should be 1 through 3. The training table should be 1. Everything you should say, hey, it's 1 through 3. And if you give me everything, it's the first, second, or third best in the Big Ten from NIL on up, and I don't get it done, I will walk my butt out of there. But don't give coaches 8th place NIL and 8th place coaching staff salaries, and then say, well, how come you're not first, right? And that might be different. It might be 20 years ago it was, hey, who could take a prop, who couldn't take a, or 30 years ago, who could take a prop, who couldn't take a prop, who could. Now it changes over time, but it's always who has the benefits, and that's real simple to me. It just comes down to what do we have. I'm always going to go with players first. So if I tell you that I'm in it for the players, then I also believe we win because of the players, and so we need great players.
I think that's fascinating, and again, these folks that have been on air with me, they've heard me just yell these things to the top of my lungs. I need to ask you away from that. So you brought some folks with you today, and when you're off air, I'm going to put them to work too, because there's no way I'm going to have that talent in the building and not put them to work. Who are the folks that came with you today, Coach?
Well, Sean Patton is our general manager, so he oversees the spring league. Yep. Every spring league thing is his idea. Yeah. But he oversees all of our personnel side from organizational hierarchical structure, letting, he organizing it where, from the ground level all the way up through Keith Williams, Vince Kinn to Ryan Callahan, that, we're doing everything at the high level. Oversees our relationship with the NIL, with the 1890 Collective, who's been amazing to us, the Pete family, those guys have been amazing to us. But just making sure that we're on the cutting edge, working within our athletic department of, hey, what's, so he's the one studying lawsuits and saying this is coming down the pike. And so really just being a conduit to, hey, we want to be the best. So to be the best, I hired the best and put him in charge of it. I have Kiera Mayo here, who's my executive assistant. Like literally, like I think I told you the other day, like I couldn't have hired a better person in the building because the players love her, the families love her, my family loves her. My 8-year-old texts her like, every Saturday morning, hey, she's just a people person. And so when you have someone like that around me, it keeps me organized, but also humanizes me to everybody else within the department. College athlete, or was a former athlete, but has worked from the equipment room all the way up to the areas that she's in, and she's a rock star. And then Jarrett with Sean. Jarrett's, I have a bunch of former players who played for me. So guys, everyone, Terrence Knight and all these guys, but Jarrett played for me 20-some years ago at Western Carolina University. He was a 300-pound offensive lineman. He's now 180 pounds. Spent several years in the police force and then the ATF. He's, got tired of getting shot at. Hey, and so he's the guy that just fixes things with the players. In terms of like, coach, hey, I got study hall at this time. They come to him. They, instead of coming to me, they can go to him as well. Manages all the football stuff. Manages the coaches. Manages so. Like my right-hand team, you throw Dr. Elza in there, and we, to me, you want great coaches, but the players spend a ton of time with the people they interact with. So whether it's Sean on the NIL front, whether it's Kiera in terms of just making sure everyone, them and their families are doing well, whether it's Jarrett just helping them with all the things that they need. We have a great group of people.
Do you care if Kiera, just randomly spends 15 minutes a week down here telling us the secrets of Matt Rhule?
Oh, no. She knows too much. She knows way too much.
That was the thing I noticed is that, she's got the keys to the castle.
It's so funny. Like we're going to the basketball game in Memphis, and she's like, hey, coach, please wear something that matches. Like, you're going to be on TV. So she's like, send me a picture. Please send me a picture.
You just told everybody that cares a black woman. So you literally, you're going to be on TV. So dressed like.
She's like,
one of my daughters.
She's like, send me your shoes. I sent a picture. So I got between, because my wife is like elegant, well dressed at all times. Like we were at Baylor, like the local steakhouse. My wife would show up wearing like she'd say, hey, we'll meet for dinner tonight. I meet at the steakhouse. I walk in sweatpants. Sweatshirt, and I'm like, they know I'm coaching. Like, if they want to still go to the Sugar Bowl, then they can let me show it.
Yeah.
So between Kiera and Julie, it's like bang bang on both sides, man. Like, hey, make sure you wear the right thing.
Sounds familiar here.
It's spectacular in all of this, right? That apart from me and this station, was built on the belief that Nebraska was going to get it right in the most important program in the entire state, and to build a place where those conversations could be had, a third place, a meeting place for Husker fans to come in and talk about what they love and why they love it. What was missing was somebody to lead the way and somebody to direct this thing and make it worthy of having 18 hours a day of live radio, sports radio, to talk about it. And there's a pride that's happening. And I just wanted you to be in the room so you understood that this space that we have, it's yours. Use it for whatever good you can find in it, because I trust that you are going to do everything possible, everything in your power to make this worthy.
You should do a segment every Monday where I come over here and you say, like, what did you think of the officiating in the last game?
Oh, deal.
And then it's like just put like a bleeping button.
No, we hit the dump button. It's over there. It gives a 7-second delay.
Coach, talk about this replay call.
Well, there's a way to do that without getting you in trouble. Like, there's a way. Because then we got to raise money for the fine that goes along with it.
It's funny. I got asked to speak at the Fiesta Bowl, and then when we talked about the college football playoff, and I said, the great thing is, it's my fourth program. I've been hired. I've been fired. I care very much what the people that matter to me think, but I'm going to say what I think, and I'm going to say it. I'm never going to say it in a way that hurts anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody, but like, if you ask me what I think about NIL, I'm going to tell you. Like, there are a lot of coaches mad at me when I said the transfer portal quarterback costs $1 million minimum, but That's the facts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like I'm at a place now where I'm like, I'm gonna be respectful, but I'm gonna say what needs to be said. Why? Because what good comes out of keeping secrets and holding things, tight to the vest? Now, at the same time, my job is to coach football and not to be, a pundit. So, I'm not going to go out there if I'm not asked, but in the right moments, like I'm going to say what needs to be said. And so if I get fined for it, if I get in trouble for it, so be it. But
we have sponsors lining up as we speak to sponsor that Monday segment.
But you know what? I'm sorry, I'm talking too much there. But
no, you are.
Here's what I don't want. I don't want the schedule to come out and us be complaining about, man, we got this, we got that. Like, like this year, we face 3 teams who have a bye week before they play us. There's a part of me when I see it, I'm like, that's not. And I say, man, shut up. Like, we need to get back to the day where people are like, they gave us Nebraska. Why did we get Nebraska? Not where we're saying, oh my gosh, we got so and so. Like, it's supposed to be. So we should just worry about us and making sure we're the team that people are like, oh, we better not have Nebraska this year, and we better not have it late in the year. Oh, please don't let it be
kickoff weekend.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah.
So like make us something special. That's what I have to. That's what you said earlier. I can't worry about anybody else. I have to worry. I can't worry any of the teams what they're doing. Sean has to do that, in the NIL world,
right?
And Jay Terry has to do it in the equipment world, and Corey has to do it. But I have to just make sure that we are back to being, hey, we are the front runners. We're going to do what we think is right, and we have to have some guts. I think the one thing that's happened is that because of the success, from what I've seen since I've been here, people are so afraid to try to do something different because they don't want to offend anybody, and that's why, like honestly, I'll say like, "Come on, you have a problem if I do this?" And usually the guys, the former players, are like, no. As long as we win.
Hey, you building?
Give me the W.
That's right.
You're building pros.
Here's what we're doing. We're gonna throw it to break, get the station ID in. We'll do 4 segments in the second hour. But Coach, we're gonna go take some pictures.
Oh, gracious.
Do some videos. Have you smile at us a little bit, and then I'm gonna pull Sean in here, and we're gonna have that NIL discussion that hasn't been had in full because I know the people who are listening write checks. So, Coach Matt Rhule here on the Captain Show on 93.7 The Ticket.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a 1-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
One action, no matter how small, can have a world of impact on the life of a child. Cedars started because one couple believed that they could provide a child with a better life. And that belief grew into the Cedars that we know today, a powerful force for good that helps thousands of kids across Nebraska. Belief grows.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Hi, I'm Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work and grit at a young age. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. I know that families and businesses in our community need lower taxes, lower cost of healthcare, and a great education. That's why, as your senator, I helped pass the largest tax cut and made the most significant investment in education in Nebraska history and worked to reduce the cost of healthcare. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Join us each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon for Youth Football 101 with Tank Perry of the Nebraska Red Wolves of 7-on-7 football. The future of the sport depends on the foundation set at a young age. Hear those stories and more each Saturday from 11 a.m. to noon here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back with Vershawn Jackson, powered by Bauer, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All righty, welcome back to The Ticket, 93.7, 1040 O Street. It's been a great day. We had Coach Matt Rhule on, DP Amon Green, and now we have another guest. DP, you want to do the honors?
Go, bro. There we go. Through the conversation we're having with Matt Rhule and explaining the new landscape with eyes towards the future and being prepared for it. A part of building what we were trying to do at the Ticket was to be inclusive of what could come and to be prepared for whatever could happen. We want to be able to bring media into that space, be fair to the university, be accountable to the university, and be inclusive. A big part of that for us was student athletes and having them be able to tell their stories on air. Now with NIL and the transition, Sean, kind sir, would you tell the folks who you are and what exactly that you do? Because Matt Rhule tries to give a full explanation.
Well, I'm the general manager here for Nebraska football. What I do, I guess, me personally, is driven by the calendar. What's happening in the year is what happens with what I'm doing. So right now we're focused very much on recruiting. We're focused very much on official visit recruiting weekends that are coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also very heavily involved in our spring ball in terms of our spring league. We try and find different ways to reduce the game down to particular things and particular moments in the game. So whether it's end of game, end of half, whether it's 2-point plays, whether it's what we call red zone lockdown, or coming out, moving the field, trying to tilt the field, or just third and long, third and medium, third and short. We try and find that. And then for the spring league, we basically break them up into 3 different teams, and it allows them to compete. But in the end, what we're doing is we're trying to gamify these particular moments in the game so it can really set their mindset for, okay, this is third and long. This is what we need to focus on. Or this is end of half. We had end of half scenarios, and we had offensive coaches that were going for it on 4th down. And we're like, guys, this is end of half, not end of game. So it's for everybody's chance to kind of take a look at these particular moments. So I'm heavily involved in that during spring ball this year. In the fall, I'll be heavily involved in terms of the direction of the scout teams, because even though recruiting is part of my job as GM, player development, and having an eye on player development. Like, you want a good roster, make your roster better, get your roster improved. So in August and in the fall, I will do a lot of work helping the scout teams get organized, and then really keep my eye on all the young players to see how the remainder of our roster is churning and getting better.
Sean, we've had these discussions on air and all of these shows and trying to figure out that from end of March to end of April, trying to figure out what the real priority one is for the program. Is it development? Is it evaluation of talent? Is it adjustment and tweaking of roster based on need and supply and demand? Is it eyes forward to September, or is it really its own thing that has to be mastered? Help walk us through that.
I think each department is working on a different focus. So the nutrition, strength staff, player development staff are all internal facing. So they are all making sure that our workouts, our mat drills, all of our nutrition is, everybody's weights, everybody's, DEXA scans and how people are trying to transform their bodies. They're very internally focused. The recruiting staff, the player personnel staff is very outward recruiting, because not only are you trying to get this class secured, get the 25 crew secure, you're also trying to have an eye on, hey, we're going to go back out on the road in May. So you're also churning through a lot of your sophomores and trying to get a sense of, hey, who is out there coming up in the class of 26, even the class of 27, just so that we have a roadmap for when we hit the road back there in May to know what schools do we need to stop by, and not necessarily go and see the kid, but go have a presence in that school and start to get a sense of who this young man is, or, where they're heading in their development standpoint, because we want to make sure that we identify guys early, especially local guys. We want to make sure that, within our footprint, we want to make sure that we're identifying guys as early as possible. So it really depends. Half the staff is looking internally, half the staff is looking externally to identify and to, weaponize our coaches for when they get out there in May. They know exactly who they should be, talking about.
Are there pockets of talent pools that exist that you have a preference for, or that the program has a preference for? Hey, we know that we can go to this space and go to this program for linemen. We know that if we lead skill position folks who develop pretty quickly, or long-term folks, or is it we know where we need to get our squad, our practice squad, our scout team guys from, who want to be a part of the program and are willing to make concessions and sacrifice to do so?
Well, I do think that I'll talk about your last part first. This is one of the wonderful things about this program in this state, is that you have a robust number of athletes that grew up wanting to be a part of Big Red.
Yeah.
And so you do sort of get, quote unquote, a hometown discount with some kids in terms of saying, listen, we'd like you to come and walk on. And then they've been thinking about it their whole lives. And so that's a real advantage to have a very strong, just football tradition throughout the state. Now, to the first part, I don't think there's particular areas where you say, oh, we go here for this, or we go here for that. I think that we are trying to focus very heavily on what's within a 500-mile footprint for us.
Okay.
I think that we need to be as strong as we can be in Kansas City, in St. Louis, in Omaha, of course, in Lincoln, of course. We want to make sure that we do all that. And then we will go down into some of the areas that have been traditionally good for us. And we've found football players that are like-minded in terms of our commitment. We do find that in the state of Texas, just because we've traditionally done a good job recruiting there. And there's a very robust Texas High School Coaches Association. So a lot of times kids have been coached hard. A lot of times kids have been
I'm a member of that club,
Yeah.
so I definitely understand that.
when we were at Baylor, when we were at Baylor, I said to Coach McGuire when we first hired him, I said, how many guys did you have working for you in the building at Cedar Hill? And he said, are you including the JVs? He said, 21. I had 21 coaches. I said, 21 coaches. I said, how many were in the building? He said, you include the junior high? He said, yeah, I guess 21. He said, so every one of them were coaching in the building. That's not the way it works in New Jersey, in Pennsylvania, in a lot of other places. Whereas this commitment to athletics in the state of Texas is so strong that they're a lobbying organization as much as anything else. So you don't mess with athletics at the high school level in Texas without paying a price. So kids have been the accountability level has been high. the commitment level has been high at a lot of those schools. And so when we bring them here under our program, which does have a lot of accountability, there's not as much of a, whoa, what's going on here? There's not as much of a culture shock. When we were at Baylor, a lot of those kids were like, oh yeah, we've done this. Like,
we've been here.
Yeah, we've done this. I was at South Lake Carroll or Lake Travis or wherever they may have been. They're used to having a structured type organization. And so we felt that we just had great success bringing kids from a lot of those organizations fitting into how Coach Rhule does things and how we do things here.
Introduce folks, because we found out we share another common thread with the District of Columbia, kind sir.
Yeah.
Tell the folks a little bit about that.
So I played football. If anyone sees me in person, you're like, you played football?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 5'2", but played college football at Catholic University. Started on the kickoff return team until we got good, and then I never saw the field again. But my first year, we were 1-9. We were a struggling program, and then the following year, we went 8-2, and then went to national playoffs. And
Daryl Willie, that's my family. He played corner on that team with you. Pretty good. That's a pretty good roster.
Yeah, they were really good. And the year after I left, I went into coaching. And I started coaching at Albright College, who was our basically rival. That's who we were banging heads with in the Eastern Division or in the Eastern region back when D3 only had 16 teams.
Right.
So you'd be undefeated and still might not make the playoffs back then. So it would be the end of the season. It would be Albright versus Catholic. My senior year, we lost to Albright. Then I go to coach at Albright, and then Catholic beats us to go to the playoffs. I'm like, I'm the only guy that was 0-2 these last 2 years in this particular game. But that's coincidentally, that's also where I met Matt Rhule, was at Albright College coaching there.
Give the folks a little of the behind the scenes to Matt Rhule, because him walking in the building and sitting gave some exposure. You try to pull the curtain back to see the Wizard of Oz, right? And you understand that there's greatness in the Magnificent Oz. But the Magnificent Rhule, when you pull back the curtain, there are some real personal things, some real humane things.
Yeah.
And I think it's legitimately true. So I'll ask, is he the kind soul that he appears to be? Because I think Husker fans want to know.
Kind soul?
Yeah.
No.
That part. Yeah.
I think that he wants everybody to be high achievers. I think that when you look at somebody that has been, he knew he wanted to be a coach at a very early age. And, his uncle Chuck was a Hall of Fame Pennsylvania high school coach. His father was a high school coach. I think he's been thinking critically about being a coach his whole playing career.
Yeah.
Then to go work for Coach Paterno, and Coach Paterno really taught that you can be made tough. We can make you tough. You're going to come here, you're going to follow this, and we're going to make you tough. So I think he sort of learned that tough love from Coach Paterno and translated that into how we approach things on a daily basis in terms of just being accountable, being where you're supposed to be, trying to do things at high a level as you possibly could. If something's wrong, if you see it, say it, fix it. And so that's sort of how that sort of permeates everything. But as he was saying to you guys earlier, it's all of us having to be on the same page, everybody holding everybody to the same standard. And I would say that tough love, is true. He wants to save guys for years. I've been like, Coach, let's get rid of this guy. He's never going to get right. He's never going to listen. He's never, and he's always the last to say, nope. No, I think, there's a future for this young man.
Yeah,
we're not going to give it up. And so he won't. And, I think at the base of it is that he grew up around coaches. And then I think around Coach Paterno, he really learned how you can keep people accountable and still be able to put your arm around them.
Sean, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. I want to get into the NIL aspect of it so you can inform folks about what really is what's required, why it's required, and how you're going to achieve it. And they are the main engine to it. And we need to explain that everybody listening has the ability to have impact on what happens. You can't talk NIL without the N, and it is important. We'll be back to the Captain Show here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Do you need motivation to get to the gym on the weekend or even in general? Tune into the Movement Hour each Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m. Movement Academy owner Robert Kuhlman will host the show as he introduces new ways to stay in shape. The Movement Hour every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Saturday, April 20th versus the San Diego Mojo at CHI Health Center in Omaha. The Muller Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 5 p.m. with first serve at 6. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Hurry, this deal ends soon. See Home Club for details.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here, summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Whether you like fishing together or fishing to get away, for the thrill of reeling in a big one, or just going out to have a good time, on the banks of your local pond, at a bend in a river, or on one of our many lakes and reservoirs, you'll always find the perfect place to cast a line, here, beneath Nebraska skies. Start planning your next fishing adventure today at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back with Vershawn Jackson, powered by Bauer, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All righty, welcome back to the Captain Show, 93.7 The Ticket. Coach Rhule came in and dropped a bomb on us today. We didn't even know he was coming, but hey, I'm so happy he stopped by.
Bach, if you can, please, kind sir, I know that you're monitoring the text line, so the Star Hemi text line, 402-464-5685. If you have questions for Sean, now is the time. And just going to say, when it comes to NIL, I know our listeners have questions because we get them every single day. So, Bach, if you can keep an eye to that. Bach, do you have questions about NIL and how it's affecting Nebraska?
Well, I just have one question because in the radio world, we get this every time. It's my new favorite off-season tradition. And since the general manager's in the room, I wanted to ask you, is the absolute panic and fear when Nebraska is over the scholarship limit among the Nebraska fan base in the Nebraska world, is that the same panic and fear in the general manager's office?
No.
That's what we figured.
No. No, there just isn't. Certainly there is a limit on the number of scholarships, and there's a limit to number of kids that can receive scholarship benefits as provided by the university through NIL. There's other creative ways whereby student athletes can be compensated. Certainly not pay to play or anything like that. They have to follow their fulfillments and the required fulfillments that they're obligated to per their contract. No, it's not as big a concern as it has been in the past.
See, here's the beauty of this, and trying to build a radio station in the middle of Lincoln, Nebraska, in downtown Lincoln, with access to the university. For very reason, we put a podcast studio just so that even when we're live, if we want to do something else, we can do this. You have some incredibly talented, brilliant student athletes in the football program. Right? Like that's a true statement. That if we offer time and resources to the football program, what are the boundaries in play? Let's say that for folks who are listening, who are business owners, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they want to contribute to making sure that Nebraska gets, as Matt Rhule says, we get the best athletes. We need to be in the top 3 in order to be in the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
And to recruit those athletes and be able to say to them, hey, mom and dad, not only are we going to develop them as young men, we're going to develop them as football players. We're also going to make them better in front of the media. We're going to make them better interviewers because they're going to have a microphone and a camera available to tell their story. You'll be able to, wherever your son is in the country, if he's from Florida or from Texas, you'll be able to tune in online to see how your baby boy's doing every week to tell these stories. Does that help Nebraska recruit the type of players that they need to recruit and want to recruit?
I think so. And I think that now that the state law has changed that allows us to be involved more, we had to be very much hands off, even when it came to just giving advice or pointing them in the right direction. We kind of never knew where we were or where we could be. So now that sort of clarifies that we can help. We can help facilitate. We can help give advice. And I think that allows us to develop programs, like you mentioned, to a greater extent. We want to make sure that guys get every opportunity possible. And when it comes to emerging media, what better way than to give them opportunities to come in and talk? And anytime they have the ability to go in and speak to a business, we're right around the corner from Nelnet. I know some of our guys have gone in and spoken at Nelnet and spoken to their employees. I mean, what a great opportunity for a young person to go there and make those connections and talk in front of people and have a Q&A session. Those things are invaluable for any individual. But when it comes to emerging media, to have those opportunities and the young people that are in our football program that are extremely talented and have that bent, like, let's give them that opportunity. And I think with the changing NIL rules and sort of the, allowing us to get more involved, I think, an opportunity like you speak of is something that not only we need to grow, we need to make it as robust as we can.
I think it's in full. So for the folks who are listening who want to contribute and know that, listen, not only am I doing a good thing, but it's going to land exactly as you say it's going to land, right? That if they want to say, you know what, I want to contribute to the football program, or I want to contribute to the quarterback, or I want to contribute to the wide receiver, or you know what, we need some more linemen. So this is my donation, and this is the thing that I want to be involved in. What's the easy way for that to happen so that the university and the program meet compliance and the young people feel like they're being included and considered, and you get from it what you need?
Yep. I would start at 1890nebraska.com. That is the URL for the collective that we cooperate with on a daily basis. I think that folks need to recognize that 1890 built this machine, but the petrol, the engine, is the fan base. And coach said, can't you say, oh, we're not going to participate in NIL? It's not like we're going to say, oh, I know there's a 2-minute warning, but we're not going to take it. Forget it. No, we're not going to take it. No, you have to play by the rules. Well, NIL now is a circumstance where every fan can get involved. It isn't just, the billionaires or whomever else, and I'm grateful for all of their assist as well. But the ordinary fan can get involved in whether it's a monthly thing or whether it's a one-time thing. If they want to be very specific about supporting particular sports or particular position groups, 1890 can handle all that. The great thing about 1890 is that 100% of your donation goes to student athletes. Every penny of it goes towards their student athletes. So all of the overhead has been taken care of. Nobody's making bonuses. Nobody's making a commission. Nobody's making a blessed thing other than the salaries that are paid for by 1890 itself. But external donations to 1890 go 100% to athletes. I don't know if anyone has that. Some places are taking a big chunk out of the donation to help support, all of their efforts. But anytime you have a circumstance where you're using donor dollars for overhead, the question will be whether it's the American Red Cross or anybody. You'll say, why is this person making this much money? Why is this person making? Well, the truth of the matter is when it comes to 1890 initiative, every dollar that you donate is going towards student athletes. And I love that setup.
Here's a concept. I know you have a busy day, and I am grateful because I know that we're going to do some stuff together because it's worked. it needs to be done. We did a thing for Give to Lincoln Day where we did basically an all-day telethon to raise money. And I'm going to offer, because the idea is sitting in my head, that we need to have a full day of 1890 raising funds for the football program. And throughout the course of the day, and we have live programming from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight.
Yep.
And I don't care whether it's administrators, players, former players, alumni, but let's pick a day where the ticket and the program get together and we say, you know what? We're just going to be active for 1890 and raise funds for NIL, because that's going to be the bridge between what was Nebraska football and what needs to be Nebraska football. So I want to offer that to you in public. So nobody can say, hey man, he talked a good game. No, I'm going to offer this station, these airwaves, this cable channel, all of our streams to Nebraska football for a day. You pick the day, you tell us how you want it done, you tell us who you want to talk to, and we will just, even if we got to get a big tote board, we're just going to have folks be uniform and unified in a day to raise funds for this program.
I think that would be great. I think that a lot of folks have misconceptions about how NIL works. And I can tell you, for years working in football operations and working in football departments and just knowing the things that kids are dealing with back at home, a lot of times NIL really takes the steam out of the pressure that a lot of guys are feeling and allows them to support things at home that they feel guilty they can't be around and help out on. But through NIL, they can. And it's really a wonderful thing. It really allows the very difficult transition of coming from high school to college and being away from family and being concerned about what's going on back at home, and to be able to just, take the edge off a little bit and take the steam out of some of the pressures that these guys feel. NIL 100% does that.
Yeah, and I think the ability for this coaching staff to be able to go into homes around the country and say, hey, listen, not only are we going to do this thing, but we're going to put more money in the pocket. We're going to help take some of that financial burden off. We're going to give you security in as well. And for the folks who are listening who want to contribute on whatever that day is, we'll make sure everybody gets something. We'll have signed pictures or something that we can do that day just to make sure that everybody's a part of it. And of course, they'll be able to come down to the station and meet everybody and say thank you in person. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for how you're doing it. Once again, Nebraska has the ability and the responsibility to lead how the rest of the country does football. It's time to get it. It's time to get it back.
It's my pleasure and honor to serve the fans of Nebraska.
Sean, thank you, kind sir. We'll toward the break. More Captain Show when we're coming up here on the 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, I'm Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work and grit at a young age. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. I know that families and businesses in our community need lower taxes, lower cost of healthcare, and a great education. That's why, as your senator, I helped pass the largest tax code and made the most significant investment in education in Nebraska history and worked to reduce the cost of healthcare. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on May 14th. Paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Clothes dryer not drying like it should? Could be your dryer vent. Call Bryant for a professional cleaning. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Hello? Hello? Believe it or not, old phones are one of the most common pain points in offices today. Many of these phones are beyond repair because parts aren't available to fix outdated devices. Whether it's a traditional phone system or cloud-based VoIP technology, Hamilton Business Phones can help upgrade your connection. We make it easy to sync your office phone with yourself for seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you deserve better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Back with Vershawn Jackson, powered by Bauer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah, what a day. Thank you, Coach Rhule, for stopping by at the Ticket 93.7 The Captain Show. We are powered
by
Bauer,
Infrastructure,
Bauer,
Underground,
Brent, Excavating. Oh, man, what a great day for the Captain Show. Oh, Bach, what are some of the things that you like that Coach Rhule said?
Well, I'll get to that in a second. There are Maryland baseball players walking right by us, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah, flash that real quick. There they go. But if you're just joining us, we've had Matt Rhule on. We got Sean Patton on, the general manager of Nebraska football. So it's been a very stacked day. I'm sure there are listeners that are new to 93.7 The Ticket or to this program. This is the captain. I am Jake Bakoven. Doesn't matter. He is Terrell Farley, one of the best linebackers in Nebraska history, and usually Vershawn Jackson, of course, a three-time national champ, a tight end for those teams on as well. So we do the Captain Show every weekday, 10 to 2 here on 10 to 12, on 93.7 The Ticket, and we're more than happy to do it. And we talk Husker football every day. So if you're just joining us, that's an introduction.
Yeah, you people was nervous all day because they say Coach Rhule was coming. So then you see him walk across the street like a normal person, just a regular person. And that's one thing I like about Coach Rhule is how down to earth he is, because you don't get coaches regular like that. You wouldn't see Lane Kiffman walking down the street like that, or Lincoln Riley, or even Nick Saban. But the one thing I like about Coach Rhule is he keeps it cool. Like you say, he's got a little swag to him. So you gotta know he's a young guy like me, probably about 3 months older than me. But I think it's a good fit for Nebraska, because now you get a coach in here who really cares about these players and who's trying to get this program back on track. And also with, he's happy to be back into college kids, because like he said, it's a different coach in college and pros. So that's one thing I like about him, is that he's really trying to get these kids to play at a level that they haven't played before and to bring Nebraska back, and I like them things that, because previous head coaches have said it, but none got out here and proven themselves and been in the community like Coach Rhule has. We had Scott Frost, former Nebraska player, but he didn't do the community things. He didn't do the small things that Coach Rhule gets out here and do.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously just having a conversation with him, very conversational and like you said, down to earth. It doesn't feel like he's speaking down to you. Obviously, very with of knowledge. I mean, he knows a crazy amount of football, but he's always, there's so many great quotes just kind of from hearing him talk. And one thing is that he's always willing to listen, always willing to learn. Even from somebody that maybe doesn't have the experience that he does, or especially from those that do. So it's fascinating. And one thing that did catch my ear too was that coaches were mad and upset about him pointing out the NIL number 4 quarterback these days. And like he said, I mean, he's just going to call it like he sees. He's been a coach for 11 years, program leader of 4 different programs. So he's very much in it. And so it's not new or just kind of adjusting and learning. And you bring up Scott Frost, and we don't have to spend too much time talking about that, but it's a short stint at UCF, and then he was on College Game Day battling things that Nick Saban would say. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but it's kind of a difference that we see in this coaching staff as opposed to the last one. But again, I don't want to sit here and go back on that, because I know Coach Rhule will say that he feels like he inherited a pretty good program, and he wouldn't go somewhere where he didn't. So, it's there are different styles of coaching, and we've seen, unfortunately, at Nebraska, too many different styles because there hasn't been enough success to sustain one. Of course, since the great Tom Osborne, who was here for 25 years, the ultimate example of kind of having that one style that was working. And you just feel like Matt Rhule's definitely on the way to that. Obviously, the results aren't what you want from year one, but that's going to be tough anywhere in a first year in trying to change the program. One thing that has definitely stood out to me as we see the transfer portal going crazy. Colorado hasn't even gotten to their spring game, and they have 14 guys in the transfer portal over the last couple of weeks. Is that that's not happening at Nebraska. I mean, any program, you're going to lose a guy here and there, and no matter what you do as a coach, there's going to be certain guys that feel like, hey, you didn't give me the chance, or I should have been, there's always going to be those guys. But for the majority of it, just feels like this team is getting closer and closer together. And if guys do have to leave, as we've seen last spring, even into this spring, there's a lot of them that are fighting like heck to do anything they can to be where they want to be, whether it's playing time or position on the depth chart or anything like that. To make it work here at Nebraska and under Coach Rhule. And I think that's because of the kind of the family atmosphere that's developing on that team.
Well, yeah, for a team, for them to stay together, to keep, with the transfer portal going on, I think a team has to build trust with each other. They have to be around each other a lot more to gain that confidence with each other. Now, we did a lot of things in the summer as a team because coaches couldn't really be on the field. So, my main concern, not my main concern, but my thing is how many guys that we can get to stay in town in the summer and go to workouts and do the summer league thing and do passing camps and stuff. So, it's a good thing that Coach Rhule is here because, he's a great guy. I can't put it even better. He grew on me, and, every time I meet him, it gets a little more closer for us that, to have that great conversation with him. But, I'm finally happy that Nebraska, I think we found our right coach, after I only been in Lincoln, 9 years, and I've been through 3 coaches already. Yeah. So hopefully this is the last coach we have to run through. And it's great having a coach like him because now you get the kids to believe. And when they believe, they play harder. And when they play harder, that equals a W.
Yeah.
So.
And obviously, again, I think that some of the weight of what's happened here at Nebraska maybe falls on this previous year where it was like Nebraska was close to winning all those games. That's the whole chasing 3 idea. And the one possession games where they're so close. And that's the mark of I think of what you would say a pretty good program in a year one. Again, the problem is that was the whole, tenure previous to him was the frustrating part is that they were close and not quite crossing that line. So in getting the W's, and I think that you might start to see that this year. The other thing, that definitely stands out from Coach Rhule making his appearance here is He wants Nebraska to be the team that gives people headaches. When they see Nebraska on the schedule, say, man, that's tough to get them after a bye, or that's tough to get them, to begin the year or late in the year, instead of doing the opposite. Nebraska was giving a very a difficult challenge here in the last 5 games, obviously, as we know, in 2024 for the 2024 schedule, and it's never going to change. Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA, all in the room now. It's going to be a difficult schedule, and so it was nice to hear too. He, had that half second of, man, that looks kind of tough, but then turning that to no excuses. Let's get this team ready to go, and focus inward and look at us and get better. And that's just kind of been his constant approach, constant message. And, to do that, he's not going to make any different way about it. You're going to have to get some top players in the room. And I feel like that was accomplished. Obviously, Dylan Rhule being the most obvious example of that at the most important position in football. But hopefully we begin to see that happen all around. They've been talking about this camp here having the number 1 defense in the nation. And, there were top 15, top 20 type defense last year. So it is good to set your goals toward that. And they've got different, they've got some athletes that can help them do that. They need to take that next step, because when we talk about those guys on the team, you don't see them at the top of the NFL draft boards yet. You don't see them on the, we'll see the preseason magazines, but leading the all Big Ten teams. Matt Rhule was very straight and direct about it. You need more draft picks. You need more of those type of players. And so I'm very excited to see if this team does take another jump on, especially on defense. Obviously, we all expect a great jump on offense with the weapons that they brought in at wide receiver and, of course, Dylan. But that next step on defense is almost just as important to really provide sustainability in that next level that we're talking about of being a competitor and somebody that on the schedule you go, oh, man, that's a team.
Oh, yeah, that's a headache.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we played, man. We didn't ever worry about who we played. We just say next. And you study that team for the week, and you get through with them, and you say next again. So you got to have that killer mentality that we're not scared of anybody. So hopefully they can take that mark on.
Off the text line, Old Dad 34 says y'all should try and get more of Coach Rhule's coaches in the show. It was an awesome experience. It certainly was. We got to take a quick break because we're still kind of catching up on one. We got one more segment here on The Captain. Also, if you happen to be a wrestling fan, Bill Goldberg.
It's on Adam Carricker.
He'll be on Adam Carricker, yeah, about 45 minutes. So Matt Rhule and Ian Goldberg on the same day. It's quite a day here at the Ticket. But we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back and wrap up The Captain here on 93.7 The Ticket. Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. And their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is Coach Bill Bush. You all know my passion for Nebraska. Having coached all over the country, I can honestly say there is no place like Nebraska. You know where there's also no place like? Midwest Bank. Midwest Bank has proudly served Nebraska for over 70 years, and they're located in 9 different communities. Midwest Bank is ready, willing, and able to meet all your personal, business, and agriculture needs. Your community, your bank, and mine, Midwest Bank. Find out more at Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Grab a free burger and beer at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln on April 27th during their Husker Spring Game tailgate. Meet the Elway Power Sports team, play some tailgate games with them, and enter for a chance to win an official John Elway autographed football. Check out their huge selection of boats and watercraft for the summer, along with hundreds of motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides from all the major brands. Stop out and watch the game with them on April 27th. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, 27th and I-80. They'll be tailgating all day.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
Mike Minner, what's up, bro?
When you look at Dylan, you're looking at quarterbacks that kind of come around once every 20 years. And this is a kid I'm looking at, I don't know how old he is, 17, 18 years old. And he is already directing things that 17, 18-year-old kids should not even know. Changing the line protection. Okay, guys, I don't know what we've been 2 weeks of practice. Come on, man. Well, we got guys in the National Football League that can't do that.
Back with Vershawn Jackson, powered by Bauer, on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All righty, welcome back to the Ticket Show. First of all, I want to thank everybody who joined us today and listened to Coach Rhule as we got him on air for the first time here at 93.7 The Ticket. I know a lot of people have questions about why we didn't ask any football questions. It was just a great thing to have them inside the building and get to know each other on a personal level first. And then when football season gets ready, hopefully we can talk football. But the spring game is coming up in 2 weeks. Bob, Colorado's not looking so good. Now I see the running back has left. He was a freshman last year. His dad was online talking about he should be RB number 1. We're not going to be like that. We're going to leave.
Yeah, Deion Sanders has done his best to kind of downplay this big exodus. But like I said, I mean, they are not even to their spring game yet. I mean, they still have that coming up here April 27th, same day as Nebraska's. And they've had, 14 guys going into the portal since the portal opened on Tuesday and will remain open, by the way, till the 30th of April. So that's kind of something to pay attention to if you're a Husker fan. But yeah, former 5-star cornerback Carmarnie McLean is in the portal. Alton McCaskill, the running back that you were talking about, was an AAC Rookie of the Year a couple years ago. So they've lost some guys, and 6 other players who entered the transfer portal this week started at least one game for Colorado last year. Of course, part of their 4-8 season, and that's going to be the big game for Nebraska. Obviously, early in the season as we look forward to it, and so we're it's constantly kind of keeping an eye on Deion, but it's just so interesting the juxtaposition of how he is running his program and how Matt Rhule, or just pretty much a lot of other coaches in general, are doing it. I'm fascinated by the fact that nationally, like, people are jumping in on this Matt Rhule versus Deion Sanders comparison. One, because they play each other, each of the first 2 years. Another, because of the rivalry between Nebraska and Colorado. And of course, they were part of the same hiring cycle. But that fact that Matt Rhule kind of is doing it traditionally, I guess you would say, as far as what 99.9% of head coaches have done it that way. I'm not saying you're not changing and trying to be innovative and all that, but as far as in-home visits, basic type of recruiting principles. Whereas Deion Sanders still has not made a home visit, doesn't believe that he doesn't necessarily needs to. He thinks he can kind of do it a different way. And I'm not here to say whether he can or not. It's a great experiment. But at Colorado, I wouldn't feel too good about it because you always feel like even if he does do something well there, he might jump for the next spot. And when he does, it's going to be a bunch of transfer portal kids that they haven't recruited too many high school kids.
He won't do good at all. Because now,
don't think so.
I don't think so because, he's too cocky and arrogant and it's coming back to him. It's hunting him because now the kids see the real prime time, who he is. He's not really a coach. He's just a head coach with people around him. He don't talk to the kids. He doesn't do home visits. He's barely, probably coached the other league. What we call that league? The
UFL or
no, the other college level he was at before that.
Oh yeah,
the HBUC. See, Deion hasn't put in enough work to know how to work college football. See, and now these kids they come there because of the name. Okay, former coach, former NFL player. Now they want to come there, but after they've been there for a while, nah, it's time to get out.
Well, and obviously he had the end. I mean, getting Travis Hunter to Jacksonville State was crazy to begin with, but to get him to follow to Colorado, that was impressive. But it felt like, especially on a 4-8 team, and you look at like going into this year, 2 of the best players in the nation are on his roster, and Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. But you wonder, after those guys leave, can he continue to bring those kind of top stars in? I don't know if you got one this class. They had some guys that early on last year thought maybe they can really kind of have a year and put this thing together because they beat TCU early on and then obviously followed that up with a victory over Nebraska. But as the year went on, you started to realize, okay, not, and maybe he didn't get a team of all-stars. And by the end of it, you said, okay, he's got a few all-stars, and that's kind of what he's going into this year too. And so I wonder, once those guys leave, where that team's going to go. But it's the same thing that we can't sit back here and say, well, it was year one for Matt Rhule, and so there's some excuses, and then we can move forward. It's the same thing with Dion. So year two is big for any coach.
Well, Dion doesn't
getting their program off the ground.
Dion doesn't like NIL. He doesn't like to talk NIL, which everybody has to talk NIL. But you would rather tell a kid, don't worry about NIL when your son is posting with all the $150,000, $500,000 vehicles, But you don't want these kids to worry about. Your son make $4 million. Travis Hunter probably makes $2 million, but you want the other kids to just focus on football. So I think that's kind of selfish to Dion. We know the Sanders family has money, but you can't. That's why they're going to continue to lose players after over and over and over. I mean, how you just going to keep bringing kids in and bringing them out? Now you lost 82 players in 2 years? Mm-hmm. You don't even have 82 on the team. I think
that's the whole team.
Yeah.
So. It's crazy to continue to track that. As we have a few more minutes, I did want to also kind of touch on the Chucky Hepburn story. Of course, Chucky Hepburn, a former Bellevue West kid, of course, went to Wisconsin, had a great career there so far. Looked like it would be a lock, but Greg Gard doesn't have any lucks. Wisconsin's losing a lot of guys. 7 players have transferred. And I think Nebraska's probably around that number, but the problem for Wisconsin is it's their star players. AJ Storr heading off to Kansas, and Chucky Hepburn now entering the transfer portal. I just found it interesting. In what I was reading through an article from Madison.com is where I got this information. But I found it interesting that because they were writing that this was kind of a shock in Madison. Chucky Hepburn on senior day was asked, kind of how he was taking in the whole thing. And he said, just before seeing that game, this is quote, just before seeing that game, seeing everybody's support makes me really proud to be in the Badger family. That's why I have a Badger tattoo. This is not just a fan base. It's not just basketball. It's not just sports. It's beyond that. It's a brotherhood. It's a family. That's why I love wearing this Badger jersey. It means more than just playing basketball, just playing the sport. I'm really proud to be a Badger and will always be proud to be a Badger. And so how did he go from that at the end of senior day to hitting the transfer portal? Well, here's a little tidbit that they had in that the article on Madison.com was that Iowa coach Fran McCaffrey, and followed me for a minute, Fran McCaffrey earlier this month told the University Presidential Committee on Athletics that point guard Tony Perkins was leaving the Hawkeyes because he has a market value probably in the neighborhood of $500,000. McCaffrey didn't have the funds to pay Perkins. Now Perkins is at Missouri. Hepburns and Perkins are probably comparable players where they're, not quite all Big Ten third team, but very solid, first team, second team, or third team for what that is. But very solid point guards. But that's crazy and you never know. That's from Fran McCaffrey. So if players like that are getting $500,000, and Chucky Hepburn has his opportunity. I mean, and AJ Storr, it's the same thing. You've heard about $1 million number over there at Kansas, which might, at Kansas, where they grabbed Hunter Dickinson from Michigan in the offseason. We'll have to see if they keep hunting down some of the Big Ten's best players. But that $500,000 type of number, that's the type of thing that can change that type of loyalty into, okay, maybe I need to cash in, because we'll see with Hepburn. Obviously, maybe some overseas opportunities, but this could be his big opportunity to kind of change what his life is like for obviously generations and moving forward with the next several years. It depends on how you use the money, right? But that type of number can change loyalty pretty quickly.
Well, the money can, but if you want to come close to home, come to Nebraska. I know it's another team in Nebraska that we have to watch out for that's up the street from us that might take a swipe at them, but we have to beat them to the punch. So, money solves everything in college football and basketball.
Yeah, it does. And I don't know. Obviously, from there, you do have kind of a hope that maybe, like you said, maybe it comes around back to Nebraska. There are several former Bellevue West kids out in the portal now, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously. The connection with Omaha has been fractured for Nebraska basketball for a long period of time. And so while it is eye-opening, and obviously that was kind of the natural reaction for Nebraska fans on Twitter, I'm kind of on a wait and see approach on that. So we'll have to see. Frankie Fiddler obviously had interest in going to Wisconsin as well. He delayed his announcement. Maybe that's because he was told by Chucky, I might not be here. So it's very interesting to kind of follow and see where Nebraska goes next. They've got some open scholarships and certainly can put together a pretty good team here on out. But we've had a great show. Unfortunately, we do have to get out. I wanted to get out on time because Adam Carricker is live today. And like I said, he does have Bill Goldberg, one of the best wrestlers of all time. Who can forget the streak in the WCW days? So I'm interested to kind of hear, obviously what's going on.
He's not even in my top 5.
Oh, he's not in your top 5.
No, never.
We'll keep you on and we'll have you say that to him when he comes on.
Yeah, I won't be here.
He's a former Georgia Bulldog.
I know, but I know.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Captain Show. I'm the Black Shirt Terrell Farley, and I'm with
Bach.
And we are on 1040 O Street. We will see you Monday. Enjoy the weekend and be safe out there.
It'll never be the same. The ticket is the name. Headed to the Hall of Fame. It'll never be the same. Nah. Hey. It'll never be the same. It'll never be the same.
Hi, I'm Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, learning the value of hard work